All right. Ready for a cold open this week?
Let's do it.
We're talking music. So my cold open question for you is, what was the first CD you ever bought? Not given to you, not listened to, but the first one that you went out and you dropped some of your own cold, hard-earned cash on. So
I got to think.
That's a pretty simple one. You got to remember it. But once you remember it, it's not subjective. You don't have to really give it a whole lot of brain power. But that'll be a fun one to cover with all this. Yeah. But with that, we'll be right back. Your local video store card.
A comic book in your back pocket.
Games with no tutorials.
Music you had to discover.
And drinking water straight from the hose.
These are the things us millennials remember fondly. We are the Jennings brothers.
Join us after the streetlights come on
as we race our bikes from the top of the hill
right down memory lane.
Exchange those quarters because this podcast takes tokens.
It's time to relax. You know what that means. A glass of wine, your favorite easy chair, and of course, this podcast takes tokens. Playing on your home stereo. So go on, indulge yourself. That's right, kick off your shoes, put up your feet, lean back, and just enjoy the conversation. After all, a podcast soothes even the savage beast. And if you know where that comes from, you know where that comes from. Put that in the comments below if you know what I'm talking about.
You know what?
Anyways.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's all right. That's all right. I'll explain later.
Okay.
We're back. This podcast takes tokens. This episode is kind of a special one. This is a musical episode. We're not going to sing, I promise you. The premise, to reinstate it for everybody at home, and I'm going to get through this as quick as I can because these tend to go a little long. The premise is, it is 2005. You're in your living room at home, alone. You want to sit down and game out with some music. There is a 5-disc CD changer next to you. That CD changer only plays standard CDs, nothing ripped, no audio CDs, no DVD audio, nothing like that. Just good old-fashioned 1982 era compact discs. So, what 5 discs are you going to load up in that to run while you're in your gaming marathon? And with that, I think we'll just kind of go back and forth.
Yeah.
And I'll start it out.
Okay.
I got no problem with that. This is my episode. And I'm going to put these in no particular order. So if I happen to list one that's on your list as well, then we can both cover it.
Sure.
And we can move on after that. The first one I'm going to bring up is Rage Against the Machine's self-titled album, Rage Against the Machine.
It's a great album.
Released in 1992, 10 songs, 52 minutes. This is probably one of the first albums that I loved to game with. I remember playing the original GTA on the PlayStation 1 and playing this CD specifically. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. My favorite track, Know Your Enemy, which featured Tool frontman Maynard James Keenan on the Maynard James Keenan on the bridge chorus there, and of course this one was also later used in Guitar Hero 3, I believe. But yeah, this is one of my favorite albums to game out with, just because start to finish, this is just one of those no skip CDs. There's not really a low point in it. There's not really a point where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to skip this one. And it's just a banger. Yeah, like it fits
good.
Right in. I like a heavy sound whenever I'm gaming, and this definitely fits the bill for me. So that's my number one. That's why I enjoyed it. Like I said, I remember playing the original Grand Theft Auto for PlayStation 1 on this. Did you ever play the original Grand Theft Auto?
I've never played the original. I know it's top down.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's top down. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's a little simpler. But yeah, like it's just this one and that one, for whatever reason, in my mind, are just Eternally Linked.
Yeah. I've got one on my list later that's the same.
That does that for you?
Yeah.
All right. So any thoughts on Rage Against the Machine?
Rage is so good. But my favorite is
Yes.
not off that album. My favorite is Bulls on Parade. I just love that song. But yeah, Rage is...
that album was the other one that I went with as well.
Yeah.
You only get 5.
Yeah. Rage is just so good. And even later, when when Chris Cornell got together with them and they did Audio Slave.
Oh, Audio Slave. Yes.
So good too. It's so good.
Yes.
But Rage, good choice. Great album.
All right.
I've recently gotten back into listening to them again, some more. And before this episode, I just, I'm like, oh gosh, I gotta listen to some more Rage. And it really is heavy hitting. Like almost every track is just, there's rage.
Bomb track.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
It's coming out of the machine.
Yep, that's right.
All right, what's your number one? Or, your first one?
My first one, yeah. Like you say, none of these are really numbered. It's just Radiohead, The Bends, released March 13th, 1995, is my favorite Radiohead album. The Bends is, a title from, or a track from the album. Fake Plastic Trees, High and Dry, Black Star. I actually listened to this.
It's a classic album.
Oh, classic. I had to go pick my son up from another town about a half hour away on Saturday from a band thing, and I listened to this going there and coming back. But I would listen to this a lot on my GameCube. I still have it. I had the remastered, had Master Quest and everything of The Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time. And I would put this album on and I would play it. For some reason, I would just hit my mic there. I would... I just wanted to listen to the Bends when I played Ocarina of Time. So,
Radio, that's good. That's solid. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, mid-90s. Yeah, I can't go wrong with that.
That's such a great album. I mean, Radiohead is just so good that they're very much like, no album is sounds like the other, and it's just I really like Radiohead.
I don't think I've never owned a Radiohead album, but it's definitely one that it comes on and I know the songs, and I enjoy listening to them for sure, and they're on my playlists now. But as far as at a time whenever I collected albums, it wasn't one that I never purchased though. But I know there were people that I feel like Radiohead's one of those bands that you're a fan. They have I don't want to say intense fans, but they have devoted fans for sure. And they will tell you about Radiohead.
Yeah. They're a good group.
Yeah. But that's a good one. Yeah, especially for Zelda. This would be a good fit for Zelda for sure. I could see that. Yeah,
totally does. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, number 2. I had a little bit of a conundrum with number 2 because and I know we said we've got one honorable mention, so I'm not gonna go into trying to sneak in another honorable mention. But my opening for this episode was actually from a intro track on the other album that this number 2 was competing for on me. I did not go with it, but I liked it for the intro, so I kept it. But my number 2 album is Offspring's Americana.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And another... we got some heavy in there.
Yeah.
This one, goes really good with the Tony Hawk on our last episode. This is another great one, just beginning to end. I thoroughly enjoyed it. My favorite song from it was The Kids Aren't All Right. Just a great song, great music video. This album was released in 1998, has 14 songs, runs 42 minutes. And like I said, it reminds me of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater because I played it a lot while I was playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater when I got tired of the music that was on there.
Yeah.
This is the album that I was running in the background. So, it's another album that I enjoyed thoroughly from beginning to end. I can't think of, again, another song on there that I would skip. So many singles came off of this album for them. I think this was like their peak album, maybe. Yeah. I don't remember if this one. I can't remember the exact track list. I should have wrote down the exact track list for this, but
I can't remember. But I remember the album cover had the kid on the swing, and there was like the tentacles that were coming at the kid, and I can't remember. I can't remember all the tracks, but I remember it was a banger of an album.
Yeah. Like I said, I wish I would have wrote down, had them ready, all the different. I'm secretly trying to sit here and look them all up. There they are.
Somebody's screaming. These are the tracks. Yeah.
Because I remembered, like I said, I was looking at this and Smash, and it was like, which one of these two? Because they are both just like great albums. But for me, it was because of The Kids Aren't Alright that I was like, I got to go with this one. But this one had like Staring at the Sun, Pretty Fly for a White Guy, which I think maybe is the one I could skip now, but that's now.
That was like
I feel like
probably
that
the most popular
one
one
because because it got played so much. Yes. Feeling, She's Got Issues, End of the Line, No Breaks, Walla Walla, Americana, of course. Pay the Man. Hell, it's just like I said, beginning to end. This was a great one. I think this was one of those albums that even had like a hidden track, like it played for a little bit at the end, and there was like silence, and then they would like have like a little bit of like a little something extra. Yeah, it was either on this album or the album that came after that, and they had like Matt Penfield and what's his name? I can't remember his name now. The comedian Ben Stiller. Doing like a little bit, I think. It was either on this one or it was on the next. I think it was on this one. And there was like a little bit of silence, and they had like Matt Penfield on there. Or was that the Korn album? See, now I'm getting things mixed up. I've just been like, I've been like mainlining music all week, just trying to get this thing together. I mean, you look at like, 5 albums, that's 5 hours of music that I've been trying to like squeeze in between everything else. So I think things kind of getting jumbled on me. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
So me, Americana, Offspring, that's my number 2. What you got?
So, so first off, if you all hear some rumbling, I just got an alert on my phone. I'm in the middle of like a severe thunderstorm warning. So, anyway, we're going to keep this rolling. But if you're listening and you hear the thunder, hopefully you don't hear me like blown away or something like that. But
well, if you need to get safety, let us know.
So my number 2 is an older one. I was going to say an oldie. It's an older one. Released November 8th, 1971, Led Zeppelin's 4. Had Black Dog, Rock and Roll, Going to California, of course, Stairway to Heaven on there. Loved listening to this when I was playing some Red Dead Revolver. Not Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Revolver, yes, and just out there shooting enemies.
It's in the Old West.
Yes, listen to Rock and Roll and Black Dog and all that. Yeah, just such a good album. It's my favorite Led Zeppelin album. I don't think any of their other stuff for me compares to 4. I think 4 is just the pinnacle. I think I'm
a little jealous. I didn't think of Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah. So what would be your favorite song from that album? If you had to pull one.
It's probably Rock and Roll.
Okay.
Yeah, just so good. It's so Stairway is really good. but it's been played so many times. I'll listen to it.
It's a cliche answer.
It is. I'll listen to it if I'm listening like to the album in its entirety. I'll listen through it because it's still a good song. But that rock and roll is just like that guitar, that driving guitar, and it's good to shoot up the old West with.
I would have guessed Black Dog, but I guess that's just me.
Yeah,
that would have been mine. But yeah, okay, all right. Good number 2 there for sure. All right, I'm gonna roll into number 3 here.
Number 3.
So my number 3 I have is probably one of my all-time favorite records albums. Toadies Rubberneck. It's one of my favorites.
Not familiar with
that one? Not familiar with. Oh, you got to check it out. Toadies Rubberneck. Okay. Released in 1994. It's 11 songs. It's a tight 36 minutes. My favorite track from this was Possum Kingdom. I always thought that this one kind of told a bit of a story. I always imagined a bit of a story playing out as I listened to this song. It always felt to me like something from like a horror film or something, or like a serial killer stalking his victims, and then repenting at the same time, or something like that. I don't know. It just always kind of painted this like black, vague image in my head that I couldn't quite focus in on. But anyways, I listened to an interview a couple of years ago with, I think, the frontman, and he was talking about this song and how when he wrote it, he was writing it about from the point of view of like a cult leader recruiting some young woman. So I feel like I was kind of close in that, in what I always imagined with that particular song. But yeah, this is another one that like from beginning, like this album comes out the gate swinging. First song on the album, you've got Mexican Hairless. It's virtually vocalist. It's like an hour. It's like a minute 46 somewhere in there. Like it's it's pretty short, but it's just like this. It sets the tone for the whole album instrumentally, and then they just roll into the next one, the next one, the next one. It's a great album. Like, you haven't heard it before, look it up. The Toadies Rubberneck. You will thoroughly enjoy it. I promise you.
Toadies Rubberneck. Okay.
Yes. It's a classic mid-90s alt rock. It's great.
Okay.
So that was my number 3. And clearly you're going to have no feedback because you've never heard of the Toadies before.
I have no feedback on it. I will have to totally listen to that.
Enjoy a little bit of trivia, a little bit of fun fact on Toadies. Recently, they had the X-Men 97 series come on Disney Plus. They're continuing the cartoon series from our childhood. Well, before that, they did, I think it was X-Men 95 or 96, was a comic series that Marvel ran, right? One of the covers had the Toadies on it. So there you go.
Okay. Okay. Did it have Toad as well?
I don't remember. I just remember them on stage. I think Rogue was featured on the cover, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah. But, anything with Rogue on it. So creepy. She's a drawing.
Roll into it.
It's the Anna Paquin Rogue. Okay. So my number 3 was Nirvana's In Utero, released September 21st, 1993. Listened to this a lot, believe it or not, when I was playing the original Halo. Heart-shaped box, dumb, penny royalty, all apologies. I just, again, like with Zeppelin's 4, In Utero is my favorite Nirvana album. I feel like it's... people will argue with me on it. I feel like it's better than Nevermind. Of course, it was like their last full-length album, but it is peak Nirvana. It is, that and their Unplugged album is tremendous.
I was about to say, that's my favorite.
Unplugged is really good. But as far as a studio album, In Utero is like, and when you are running around freaking pistol whipping The Covenant, listening to Heart Shaped Box. It is
got some Kurt Cobain in your ears.
Oh yeah, it is a treat to do that. Did you ever play anything listening to this?
This particular album, probably, but I don't think it stood out as like one of those like I'm going to sit down and play a game. I'm going to put on this particular albums. Even though like I'm a huge Nirvana fan, I love Nirvana. Like you said, the MTV Unplugged, that was such a fantastic. That's probably one of my all-time favorite albums. And just I really wish we could have gotten more from them. Foo Fighters, again, fantastic and great. Almost second act, if you will, for the band continuing on in some capacity or another. But yeah, that was a great album. It was a great pull, especially with the Halo there. That's good. Good combo.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, Nirvana at one point was, which I think this is with a lot of high school people, but Nirvana was like my favorite band. I still enjoy them, but not to the extent I used to. Like, I'll listen to them once in a while, but I'm not like, I gotta listen to Nirvana. You know, I mean, yes, I wish we still had Cobain with us. Yes, I wish that we still had this massive library of, you know, music from them, because I think I would love to have seen their music evolve over time, especially like you're saying, seeing what Grohl did with the Foo Fighters having, if you had Cobain in there, just feeding into that, I think it would have just been just tremendous.
I don't think we would. I think it's like a double-edged sword that we wouldn't. I don't think we'd have the Foo Fighters like we have the Foo Fighters.
You're right.
I think we'd have some lesser version of the Foo Fighters and maybe some dwindling version of Nirvana eventually. Yeah. But I mean,
we'll never know.
Can't rewrite the past. Yeah.
That's what we got. So,
but yeah, thoroughly enjoyed them. I still enjoy them to this day. Like I have XM in the truck and Lithium. You know,
Lithium's
mid '90s alternative rock. That's my number one station, and they are on there all the time. For sure. Yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah, absolutely. All right, number 4. You ready for this?
Y'all ready for this? Is this a?
I'll give you a clue. Let's see if you can get it. Pepperoni and green peppers, mushrooms, olives, chives.
Say again.
I'll give it to you again. Pepperoni and green peppers, mushrooms, olives, chives. It's the best pizza order. System of a Down steal this album.
Oh, okay. Believe it or not, I am not as familiar with this album as I am with.
Oh man,
yeah. Toxicity's the one that I was like huge on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Released in 2002. Steal this album. 17 songs with 3 hidden tracks of 10-second silence. And then the 17th hidden track. No, sorry, that wasn't on this one. I got that conflated with a different one. 17 songs. 49 minutes. My favorite track on this song was Chicken Stew, which is where those lyrics come from. What a crazy pizza order. I mean, it actually sounds pretty good. Pepperonis, green peppers, mushrooms, olives. Yeah. I mean, chives I've never seen on a pizza, but why not? Yeah. That sounds good.
Sounds all right.
Yeah. I think that might be my new standard pizza order, actually. I think that's pretty close to what I order a pizza, it's pepperoni, mushrooms, black olives, and then I throw green peppers on there for my wife because she likes green peppers. Yeah. I mean, if I throw chives on there, I've got the chicken stew. Wow, that's pretty cool. But yeah, this song, I love this song, especially like in this whole album, but in particular this song, whenever about halfway through the song, they hit the brakes and it just slows down. Yeah. And then it kind of like, and then they go again. I love that. Just the vocal gymnastics of Serge on this and all of his albums really. Are just, they're fantastic, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And this is one of those albums that, like, from beginning to end, I love every song on it. There isn't a skip, and it's great for gaming down with for sure. As far as like an actual, it's probably I think Halo. I played a lot with this, or what was that one? Medal of Honor.
Yeah,
played a lot
good one.
with this one as well. Yeah, that was probably around the same time.
Yeah,
but yeah, this one, like I said, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It's a great album for gaming with. System of a Down, steal this album. I remember getting this album and thinking it was so funny because they didn't have a cover art insert. It was just clear with the album that said, like, it looked like it was handwritten and it said steal this album.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think I've seen like where there was like stickers that some record stores would put on there that says like please don't or something like that.
I could see that. Yeah, because this was like, it was kind of a response album to all the piracy issues that were going on around the time with Napster and all that. But that was my number 4.
That's good. Yeah, System of a Down, I was big into Toxicity was my...
That was a couple years later.
Yeah, that one was really, really good. Yeah. My number 4, I told you I love them. Radiohead again.
Oh, wow.
OK
Double
Computer. From May 21st, 1997, had hits like Karma Police, No Surprises, Climbing Up the Walls. Again, this is a common theme with me playing Zelda games. I would play this when I was playing. I would listen to this when I was playing Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker on my GameCube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was just that because the whole album is just almost
easy, calming.
Yeah,
melody,
it's just this ethereal kind of and you're just sailing across the sea, and it was just a good. It was a match made in the early 2000s. It was great. It was great.
Maybe that's why I never got into Wind Waker. I was trying to play like System of a Down and Metallica in the background while it's running, and it just never matched up well.
You just need Radiohead,
with the Zelda games.
and that'll do it.
I just need something cool. I need something calmer. All right.
Yeah. It's good. I like this album. Like the Bends is my favorite of their albums, but this is a close second. OK Computer is so good, and I don't know. I had like it's something I had thought of one time. I was having all these kind of brainstorming sessions of like making a zombie movie, right? And I thought like this album, if I could ever make a zombie movie and I could procure licensing, all the music would be this album, because it would fit so perfect with something like that, which is odd because it fits so perfect playing Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, which is not a zombie movie by any stretch of the imagination.
Is there an album that's been used as like the soundtrack to a movie? Like without like just taking a whole album and making that soundtrack to a movie? I'd be curious. I don't know.
I'm not sure. Yeah. This one would be a good one.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Man, now we know. Now we know. If we ever make a zombie movie. Radiohead. OK
Radiohead.
Computer.
OK Computer. Yep.
All right. Yeah. Well, we're getting close.
Yeah, we're moving along here pretty quick.
Last one here. But before that, I think I'm going to hit y'all with the honorable mention. Mm-hmm. We get one. Limited to just one, because last time we did one of these musical things, we both had like 5 in a top 5 and then 5 honorable mentions.
5 honorable mentions and then 5 honorable mentions.
So we put a little cap on it. We just get one, and that's it. And we should be okay with that.
Yeah,
it's fine with me.
We're good.
Yeah. So my honorable mention, I'm not breaking the rules, but I'm not bending them. It's one disc, whatever.
You made the rules. You can break them.
That's right. I'm not breaking them. I'm not bending them, but I'm definitely getting in a lot with this particular honorable mention.
Okay.
Have you ever seen the compilation album We're a Happy Family, a tribute to the Ramones?
No.
Oh, that's another one you need to check out. It is a fantastic album, released in 2003. It is 17 songs, 48 minutes. It is a collection of covers from various artists dedicated to the Ramones.
Wow.
My particular favorite cover on this one was The Return of Jackie and Judy by Tom Waits. It is so raw. Like you can feel this song. It is so good. But it's packed full of other fantastic artists and covers from top to bottom. We're a happy family. I want to make sure that I get the songs that they're covering correctly. I wrote down the artists.
Sure.
I didn't write down the songs, but I got them here. So we have Red Hot Chili Peppers covering Havana Affair. You've got Eddie Vedder and Zeke doing, I believe, Miracles. You got Rob Zombie giving you Blitzkrieg Bop, which is on one of his other albums. Metallica giving you 53rd and 3rd. U2 gives you Beat on the Brat. Kiss gives you Do You Remember Rock and Roll? Marilyn Manson with KKK Took My Baby Away. Garbage gives you I Just Want to Have Something. Green Day gives you Outsiders, The Pretenders, Something to Believe In, Rancid, Selena's a Punk Rocker, Pete Yorn, I Want to Be Your Boyfriend, which is another one of my favorites. It's a nice, great song. Offspring, of course, gives you I Want to Be Sedated from one of their other albums. I believe that was on Smash or Americana.
I can't. It was on one.
Rooney. Yeah. Rooney with Here Today, Gone Tomorrow. Tom Waits, of course, with Return of Jackie and Judy. And this one did have a hidden track. There was like a couple of tracks of like 10 seconds of silence. And then you have this John Fuscane. I'm not familiar with the artist. John Fruskin.
Okay.
Today Your Love, Tomorrow. But anyways, it's fantastic. Compilation CD, if you will. Yeah, it's compilation CD, not if you will. It was. It's compilation CD. This is another one that I love putting on, especially because you had this mix. Like you've got like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Metallica, U2, Kiss. It's just a great album from start to beginning. They're all doing these covers. The covers range as far as like some of them are a little slower, some of them are a little faster. But yeah, like if you haven't heard this is another one. Put it on your list. Go check it out. We're a Happy Family, a tribute to the Ramones. Came out in 2003. It's great. I enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, this is another one that I like to sit down and game with. This one I remember playing Gran Torino, the PlayStation 2 Gran Torino. I forget which one that was. Turismo? Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was Torino.
Turismo. That's the movie with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, it's based on the game.
Yeah.
Oh no, is it? Oh, okay. I'm thinking. Oh, you're right.
Maybe there's a game where you're playing as a grumpy old man Clint Eastwood, and you're driving around the Gran Torino
his car.
Yeah.
No, yes, Gran Turismo. Sorry. Yes, Gran Turismo. I remember playing with this particular album. What's your honorable mention?
Well, first off, for us, one thing that I think is a lost that is lost with streaming services like Apple Music or Spotify or just whatever it is you're listening to, Google, whatever Google's one is, is the hidden tracks, because they're not on there anymore. Yes, it's like
it's a separate track.
It's a separate track.
It's not hidden.
Yeah. I miss listening to albums and being like, okay, that's the end of it. And then you get ready to turn the CD off and you're like, oh, there's another song here.
A little bit more.
Yeah. Just,
the hidden track. You don't get that anymore.
Yeah. I miss them.
Yeah.
We can pretend.
Or where they have like a song and then a minute or like 10 minutes of silence, and then there's another song. You're like, why is this song like 27 minutes long? Yeah, because there's two of them on here.
Yeah. You start hitting the fast forward button on your CD player, which you never use.
If it had it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah,
That's
I do.
loss.
I miss that. My honorable mention was from March 9th, 1987.
Ooh.
U2's Joshua Tree.
Oh,
Excellent,
okay. Yes.
excellent album to listen to.
Yes.
I would listen to it when I was playing like Xbox Live, early Xbox Live Arcade, like puzzle games like Hexic and Bejeweled and stuff.
Hexic. Oh man, I forgot about that game.
Great album to listen to. With or Without You. Still haven't found what I'm looking for. Where the Streets Have No Name.
Yeah.
It's just that. Oh my gosh! It's the atmosphere that gives you when you're in the zone playing Hexic, and you're just like trying to twist things to match. And oh my gosh, it's great. And it's one that I thought I had forgotten about it until I think it was yesterday that you had texted me and you had said something about honorable mentions. I was like, oh, I didn't put an honorable mention on the list. I got to think of something. And I was like racking my brain. And today I was actually compounding some chemo for somebody at the hospital. And I was like, oh, Joshua Tree. It just popped into my head. And yeah. It's great.
That was how I felt about Toadies today. Like today, it came to me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Toadies! I gotta put that on there because that album's great."
Yep.
And so I had to kick somebody off, and now I got Toadies.
Yeah.
I can't even remember who I kicked off now. But yeah, that's a great one. Yeah. Joshua Tree.
That's great.
I could see that with like you said, those old Xbox arcade games. Yeah, Hex.
Super simple puzzle games.
Just little puzzle games.
Yeah, and it doesn't require, it requires thought as a puzzle game requires thought, but it doesn't.
It's simple.
Yeah. You are not like thinking about some grand story or there's enemies over here. Like you can just almost zone out
play.
And just get in a Zen state and play
like
these
Tetris.
games. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what they were trying to capture on it. I think there is that trying to get back to that Tetris vibe. Because, Tetris is just one of those games you can just sit down and play for a little bit, or retro bowl, something like that.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's great. I like the retro bowl
mention. You ready to move into the?
Which side note, I've noticed before we move on. I'm sorry. Now that you mentioned retro bowl, we've mentioned on this show before, and we both love the game. I've noticed watching some NFL this season, they have retro bowl commercials now on the football games.
No way.
They do. Yep.
For the retro bowl game has commercials?
Yep.
Really?
So kudos to them. These. Yeah.
Where are you watching it at?
Just like, I don't know, different streaming services and things.
Cable?
Yeah.
Streaming services, all right.
Like, Peacock and whatever they're on, Paramount, whatever I'm watching the game on.
Those have got to be targeted ads. They're listening to you. That's what that is. I haven't seen those.
Who knows?
But maybe I will.
Who knows?
I'll just start saying retro bowl a little bit more around my house, and I'll finally get to see. Or maybe I'll just look one up. I'm curious what their commercials look like now. I love a good commercial.
Yeah, they're good. Anyway, back to our
number 5.
Back to our albums. Yeah.
All right, number 5. My number 5. It's another compilation album. Ozzfest 2001, The Second Millennium. Released in 2001. 16 songs, 65 minutes. Have you heard this album?
You're throwing all these albums out here, and it's like I'm not familiar with 3 out of 5 of these. No. you gotta. I'm giving you some homework this week, man. These are great. Yeah, exactly.
These are great. All right, this one's actually a little harder to come by. I couldn't actually find a way to listen to this one without trying to dig out my old CD, because it's not available anywhere that I could find. Anyways, but the set list is Black Sabbath, The Wizard, Marilyn Manson, The Love Song, Slipknot, New Abortion, Papa Roach, Blood Brothers, Linkin Park with You, Black Label Society, Super Terrorizer,
Black Label Society really
Disturbed,
good.
Fear, Mudvayne, Death Balloons, Drowning Pool, Bodies, and I think there's a few more on there that are from bands that I'm not familiar with, but it's a good listen. But yeah, this one's just a great live album. Fantastic. The Black Sabbath Wizard goes on for I think like 7 or 8 minutes or something like that. Like it's a longer version of the song, which is one of my favorite Black Sabbath songs. So that right there is fantastic. But yeah, this is a great. I'm not typically a fan of live albums, but this one is a fantastic live album in my opinion. And I especially remember listening to this one while playing either Metal Gear Solid 2 or GTA 3 on my PlayStation 2. And even later ripping it to my Xbox for the hard drive, and then listening again to GTA 3 whenever I got it for the Xbox, because that, like we talked about, that hard drive, ripping music to that hard drive was just fantastic. It was a great thing that they added onto that, and it's something that we've lost. Like you could probably rip music onto your hard drive now for your Xbox. I haven't tried it. I bet you could, but I don't think you could play it on any of the games. I don't think they do that now.
I think the only way you can do that, I don't know about ripping anything. I've not tried it. I mean, you can download like the Spotify app or whatever, and it'll play music in the background while you're doing it. But it's not the same. It's not the same as ripping it on there. And I don't know. You could watch the progress.
Having it come through the car.
Downloading.
Yeah. There's something I miss. Something we won't get back. But I mean, I guess you could still do it on an Xbox. You just, I don't think you have the Xbox Live that'll automatically fill in your. Well, I don't think it did that before. Actually, did it? When we ripped it on the Xbox, you had to manually type in everything.
Manually name everything.
Your
controller
with the little joystick and all that. That was a pain. Yeah, I remember none of mine were labeled because of that. It was just track 1.
I think if I remember right, I could be remembering wrong. I think those, like, you know how some of those CDs were like enhanced CDs, they would say. You remember those?
Oh,
like
and
you could stick them in your computer,
yeah.
and there'd be like extra things on there. I seem to remember some of those would auto-populate, but I don't,
because they had it on there.
I may be thinking the Xbox 360 doing that.
No, I think you're right, because like I think a lot of the albums from like around 2000 and later started putting that on there because a lot of like car stereos started having those little LCD displays where it would put up what was playing. I remember my truck at the time in 2001, the head unit I got for it, that's an ancient term. The head unit that I got for it had a little LCD, and it would banner display the track info if it was available. Otherwise, it would just say like disc 1, track 1 or whatever. But some of the later albums I got would have that on there. And whenever radio started, terrestrial radio, FM radio, started putting that information on there too, it would start coming up. I remember thinking, that's so cool. And then I got a new truck, and that went away. But yeah, so Ozzfest 2001. Yeah.
Gosh,
Second Millennium.
When did they stop doing that? I remember Ozzfest used to be such a big thing, and
I think pretty recently. I think they were still doing it up till pretty recently. And I want to say like in the last, like I think a couple of years ago, they still had it going. They may even still have it going on now. I don't know.
Up around here, they used to have. They didn't have Ozzfest. They used to have Rockfest up around the Kansas City area, and they'd have all the kind of same bands. You know, they would have an Ozzfest there, but they haven't done that.
We had
in years.
We have Edgefest down here.
Okay.
And it was the local radio station, The Edge, would do Edgefest, and they'd have a lot of those. Those bands would come out and they'd play and stuff like that. A lot more kind of geared hard rock alternative. But yeah, like they're still doing that. I think they still do it independent of the radio station. I don't remember. I don't go to concerts. I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
too loud for me anymore. Like I don't go to too many of them.
it was too loud for me back then too.
Yeah.
I never was a fan of concerts.
Like now when we go, because Mindy and I took Landon to Missouri State Fair, the Goo Goo Dolls are playing, and I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind seeing them. I like the Goo Goo Dolls. But I got us like seats near like the they weren't like trackside seats. Yeah, they were like stadium seats in the back. I'm like, this is a good distance. We can see the band, we can hear them perfectly, and we don't have the crowd. So
it used to be too loud. Now it's just too crowded and too loud.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
I just never really had great experiences at concerts. Every concert I went to, I just remember thinking, this is so loud, I can't make out what's going on. It's just a cacophony of sound and noise. And I don't know if it's just me or what, but I was just always like, I'd rather just sit at home and listen to the album or sit in my car.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't hardly make it out. It's just rumbling.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's my opinion.
Yeah. So that's a good pick. There's some, like you were saying, Black Label Society. Oh my gosh, such a good group. I really like a lot of their stuff. But I mean, I know there was other
it's
other
good
bands
mix.
in there, but it's a good mix. It's a good mix.
Yeah, I enjoy a good mix.
Well, my final one is number 5. If we had to number these, this would be number 1. Like this is when you had said this, like this is what we're gonna do, and you'd mentioned it. I'm like, I know
this is what you thought of.
This is exactly it. I put the dates on all these, so just bear with me. From June 1st, 1999, Blink-182's "Enema of the State."
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
That's a good
From
one.
start to finish. It's and every song transitions, like literally transitions into the next one. It is so...
Another thing that's
so
lost.
Good. Yes. It's so good. Aliens Exist. What's My Age Again? Adam's Song. All the Small Things. With a ton of other great ones on there. Oh, gosh. I love this album so much. So it's still one of my favorite albums of all time. It's so good. Yeah. And I was a huge like Blink-182 fan. It was like Blink-182, and then as I got a little bit more angstier, then it kind of turned into Nirvana, which is weird because you would think the angst would be more Blink-182, but whatever. 182 is great. I bought this album, the unedited version, when I was, it came out in 99, so I was probably like 13 when I bought this album because they didn't care back then. At least the person I bought it, the store I bought it from didn't care. But I remember I bought this album and then I went over to Electronics Boutique, to EB Games, and I bought my Glacier Purple Game Boy Advance with Castlevania Circle of the Moon. And when you're talking about putting 5 CDs in a stereo, I had a 5-disc changer. But I played this album on repeat. I had a couch in my bedroom because my room was so big. I had a couch. I would lay on that couch. I would have Blink-182's Enema of the State playing, and I would be zoned in on Castlevania Circle of the Moon. So now, anytime I've purchased they've got the Castlevania Advance collection. You know how Konami is putting all these collections out. They've got the Castlevania Advance collection, so it's all the Game Boy Advance Castlevania games in one collection. Still to this day, I Castlevania Circle of the Moon comes up. I'm like, I gotta listen to Enema of the State when I'm playing this game. It's just
absolutely,
they are one and the same. Like there's no way to separate them. It's such a good album.
I'll tell you, my wife and I are huge Blink-182 fans. Our first date, we geeked out over Blink-182 together, and it's always been on our playlist. In fact, our song is Blink-182's Josie.
Oh yeah,
That tells you anything about us.
source of most frustration.
So yeah, but that's a great one, and I gotta say I can't listen to which one was that? What were the songs on that album?
Aliens
again?
Exist. What's My Age Again? Adam's Song. All the Small Things were the big ones that.
I think it's All the Small Things. They had that album, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, where it was like a live album. And there was I think it was during All the Small Things, whenever Mark shouts out in the middle of it, now it's time for the slow, pretty part. No matter what, whenever I hear the song, I hear that in my head, even though it's not part of the album cut of the song.
Yeah.
That still echoes in my head whenever I listen to this album.
Yeah.
Separate from it, but that's.
Have you heard their new song they released a couple months ago?
No, I have not.
It was.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good. Like it's
All right.
kind of about the way I interpret it. It's kind of about like just autobiographical almost about them and how they had their differences, and they split up and then they came back together, and it's I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. It's
called like Brothers or something like that. I have heard this song. That you mentioned it.
It's really really good. Yeah, I'm looking it up. It's because now for some reason, why is it escaping me?
It's because you're
one
trying
more time.
to think of it.
One more time.
One more time.
Yes. Yep.
I don't know why I thought it was called Brothers.
Yeah.
Maybe they talk about each other as brothers.
Well, they do. They say something about one of the lines in there is like something brothers, but yeah, it's really good. But gosh, yeah, Blink is
I had heard
favorites.
that. Now that you mention it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, one more time. Yeah. And there's like they're doing a whole album off of that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You can listen. I was just looking at it on Spotify on my phone. The whole album's on there. I didn't realize it had gotten released yet, so I'm gonna have to go through there and listen to that. But.
Yeah, that's going on my list for tomorrow. Okay, now I got a new album to listen to from this. Great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got the Aliens Exist, so, like, Tom DeLonge is, like, really into, like, extraterrestrial contact and all that stuff. Like, he has this whole company that he's built that is trying to like figure out experimentations and things on contacting extraterrestrial life and everything. Yeah. And which I don't know, that all that stuff interests me. That's why I've got my X-Files shirt on today. But anyway, like I just that kind of hits home with me too, I guess, when I listen to any of their stuff. Not that, not every single song they have is about aliens, but it's like it's just kind of cool that I don't know, he's kind of into that stuff too. But yeah, Blink-182.
That's another, not just an album, but that's another band really that I can just like. I'll go on to I do music through YouTube, so I'll go on to like my YouTube music app and I'll pull up Blink-182 and I'll just hit play and just like start playing their stuff, and it'll like usually play them in order of most popular to least popular, and I can get a good hour or two before I skip a song or anything or even think about it. But yeah, that's one of my all-time favorite bands for sure, right there. Blink-182, and still solid, holds up. Like you said, with Nirvana, Blink-182 holds up. Yep, absolutely does. And I enjoy it today as much as I did when I first discovered them. Yep, watching MTV or whatever back in the day. Yep. But that was great. Great little top 5 there. Yeah, I enjoyed that. It's fun. That's something that I don't get to do as much as put on music and play a game. Now, whenever I play a game, I kind of want just like the sounds of the game, almost silence.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever.
That's me too.
I don't want distractions. Yeah.
Well, I think games
unless
now,
it's like
they're just
they don't.
Well, there's so much more immersive, I think, now. Like, like you were saying, you've been playing The Last of Us. Like, something like that. Like, I want to put my headphones on and I want to hear like
spatial audio.
Oh yeah, all the stuff that's going on. I want to hear Ellie, screaming at Joel and bullets ricocheting, and all it's yeah.
Yeah, because you can't have it's almost distracting to have music going on over top of something like that.
It's just stimulation overload. Almost.
Yeah, stimulation overload. That's it. Yeah, unless it's like some mindless game, like you're talking about with like Hex or something like that, or if I find myself in the mood to go back and play like Minecraft, or even, maybe not with Fortnite, because you kind of need to hear people around you. But there's sometimes where I'll sit, but yeah, for the most part, I want the sound from the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't work the same anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's just getting old and losing a step or whatever.
Yeah.
I just need that. I need to hone in more with my senses now.
Yeah. Yep.
But I enjoy that. Yeah. That was a fun one. That was a good trip down memory lane for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do we got next week?
Next week we're going to go back to doing some movies. We are going to watch The Quick and the Dead. Kind of a newer. Well, I don't want to say newer. Like, I enjoy westerns. I know you enjoy westerns. Like we've talked about that. This one came out in the late '90s, I think. So it's not like Clint Eastwood old or John Wayne.
I thought it was like mid '90s.
But was it mid '90s? Okay,
I think it was mid '90s because it was like a younger DiCaprio.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. Yeah. So anyway, it's been a long time since I've watched this one. I remember enjoying it, but I also remembered enjoying The Mask. So we'll see.
I don't think this one will pan out like The Mask.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, we'll see how we like that, and watch along with us. Let us know what your top 5 albums to play games to were or are. And we'd love to hear from you. We'll read your comments on the air. And so with that, we've reached another checkpoint, my friends. Remember, sharing is caring. Reviews help a lot. We would appreciate your reviews. And we'll answer our question, our cold open question, on the flip side of this. Until next time, be kind and rewind. This Podcast Takes Tokens is a Clay Street production.
All right, so we're back to answer that cold open question. But before we get to that, do you love This Podcast Takes Tokens? Get yourself a free sticker. Show your love for the podcast. Be one of the first 50 to snag an exclusive sticker. Here's how. Listen to the episode, or listen to any episode, wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a written review somewhere. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever we'll let you. I think Apple Podcasts is the only one right now. Take a screenshot of that written review, stars and writing. Then email us that screenshot as well as your mailing address to This Podcast Takes Tokens at gmail.com, and we'll ship you back a sticker absolutely free. All we ask is for that review. You want 2 stickers? Leave us reviews on multiple platforms, or however you figure that out. Act fast. This offer ends December 31st, 2024. Email us as soon as you post it to ensure that you get credit. And remember, 1 sticker per unique review per site. And comments don't count. We're looking for stars and written reviews. So get listening, get reviewing, get sticker collecting. Remember, there are 5 unique designs, and we will send you out 1 random one for each review that we get. Yep. With that said, our cold open question was, what was the first CD you ever bought? Not given to, not listened, not handed out at a concert, but what was the first CD that you dropped some hard-earned cash on?
Handed out at a concert. You guys, you like this band? You need to listen to ours. Yep. First album that I ever bought with my own money is a complete and utter embarrassment.
Oh no.
The Armageddon soundtrack.
Oh, that's not that bad. That's not that
terrible.
bad. Got Aerosmith.
Terrible.
Come on. We still got to do that movie too.
Yeah, we do. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't that bad, but I look back on it.
It's a great movie.
It's the cliche of the love song of I don't want to miss a thing.
No,
like, gosh, that's the reason I bought the album.
It's weird that he's singing it and his daughter's up there. But
yes.
at the same time, like, I remember watching an interview with him and he was like, this is a love song, but it's not a love song like people think. It's a love song that I wrote as a father loving his daughter. And it's actually a song written from that perspective. So when you think about it,
well, in the movie, there's that perspective with Bruce Willis and Liv Tyler too, I suppose. So,
Liv Tyler,
but we'll get into depth with that whenever we review the movie. Well, not review. I'm sorry, we do not review things. I will say that we are not reviewers. We just rewatch these things.
Really
and we
enjoy
like
things.
to discuss it.
We're rewatchers.
Yeah.
We are reminiscing.
We're not giving star reviews or ratings or anything. We're just talking about what we enjoyed and didn't enjoy about stuff. So our opinion does not mean that it has to be yours. And
how much does it hold up to your memory of said thing? Because that makes a difference too. Like, we remembered The Mask being great and a lot of fun, and then we rewatched it, and well, I'm not going to be watching it again. I'll just say that.
That's going to just continue to be a running joke. Watching it.
Yeah, that might be.
Yeah.
All right, so mine was Blues Travelers 4.
Oh.
Thank you, BMG.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. Man,
that was back in the BMG days. I got a thing in the mail, and they were like, you can order 10 CDs for a penny a piece, and then you can pay an extra $1 and get up to 12 more for $1 a piece or something, or 12 total for $1 a piece or something like that. And I ordered 10 CDs, and that was the first one I picked. I remember because I really like that album.
Run Around.
I got that. I got Run Around, Hook.
The Hook.
All that.
Oh, the Hook is great.
Song.
Anytime I tell somebody like that doesn't know, I'm like, do you know what the Hook is about? They're like, no.
It's about writing a song.
It's about writing a song, and it's all nonsense, but the hook brings you back. And then they listen to it, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is a genius song. I'm like, yes, it is.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a fantastic song, yes. I love Blues Travelers because of that. That album was just so great. I love that album. Still, I hear those songs, I'm just like, oh man, that hook brings me back. It does.
What else did you get?
Every time.
You were sorry, I interrupted you. You were talking about, you got the Blues Traveler, and
I got Blues Travelers. I remember that. I remember I got Korn's Life is Peachy. I got the Friends soundtrack because it had like Toad the Wet Sprocket. That was a great soundtrack. Had a lot of good music from the time. And then they also kind of like did this weird thing where like at the end or beginning of a song, they'd like splice in as part of the track audio from the show.
I remember that.
Like you
brought that. I remember. And there was like Joey doing the bit about how he was playing somebody's butt. Right?
Yes.
Well, that was off that album, wasn't it?
Al Pacino's butt.
That was it. Yeah.
That was one of them. Yeah. And they just put it in at the beginning, right before the song. Like, it wasn't its own track or anything, so you had to listen to that before you listened to the song.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Or you listened to it after you listened to the song. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But that was one of them. I got, like I said, Blues Travelers 4. I can't remember what all the rest of them were. There was a bunch. Like I said, I did the full 12. I just, I don't think anything else really hung around after that. Because I remember I did that and then I got them. And there was a couple of them that I listened to and then I kind of like got over and I was like, I'm going to go trade these in and get something else. And I went to trade them in at the local CD warehouse because we had those everywhere here. And the guy was like, I can only give you $1 a piece for these. And I was like, why? Like, you've got them on the shelf for like $10 a piece. You're going to turn around and sell it for 10. He's like, nah, this one actually gets sold for 5. And he flipped it over and he showed me, he's like, you see down here, it says like BMG or whatever. He's like, these are are copies of the original. They're not the original albums. And I was like, and so I got kind of an education, and I was like, wow. So I wrapped up my thing with them, and I never.
That's how they sold them for so cheap.
Yeah, because they were all just copies of the original. And I know there was like a big thing where that came out where they weren't paying royalties to a lot of the artists and stuff like that. And
oh my gosh! So they were just like they were basically bootleg copies, is what you were.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think they may have been selling some that weren't, but I'm pretty sure most of them were just copies of the originals.
Wow.
And I know that like you go to the CD stores and they would drill a hole in the jewel case to mark it, to easily identify it, which I always thought was kind of weird. But yeah, like that was the thing that they were doing.
Wow.
They were just ripping off music, which is why you don't see them anymore.
Yeah. Interesting.
Did you ever do one of those like BMG or
once
Columbia House?
Actually, I went in. It was Columbia House. I think I went in with our Aunt Kathy on that, and I ended up getting I don't know, whatever Disturbed's first album was, and what else did I get with that? I remember that one. I can't remember what else. Maybe like Sixpence None the Richer or something. I don't know. That may not be it. I don't remember. I remember having that album, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I do remember the Disturbed one. So
yeah. Smashing Pumpkins, Siamese Dream was another one that I got with that. That was which after finding out about the whole BMG thing, I ended up eventually going through and replacing it with an actual version of the song for or the album for whatever reason I felt justified in doing. And then afterwards I was like, well, that was silly. I had a copy of it. Why did I spend more money for nothing?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't rip them off. BMG ripped them off, but whatever.
Yeah.
I felt justified at the time. Like, I need to do this
I'm giving the
to
artist
support the artist. Yes. Which of course they're receiving like 5 cents off the album sales or something like that.
they get, I think they make more money now off the streaming services than they did off actually selling CDs.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, because all they made money off of was touring.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that they had any real, and merch and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a fun one. I enjoyed that one. So next week we'll do
Quick and the Dead.
Quick and the Dead.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that since it came out, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't think I really watched it. I think my parents rented it, and they were watching it, and I popped in and out maybe. So I don't really remember it too much. This will be interesting.
Same. I remember little bits from it. But I remember always enjoying it. Every time it was on, I remember watching it, sitting down and watching it.
All right.
But, yeah.
Well, good. It'll be a nice first watch.
Yeah.
If you will.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Well, sign us out.
Yep. All right. Well, we will see you all next time. We appreciate you listening, and we'll see you then.
See y'all around.